Hey guys, hope it's going well. I'll just give it a couple of minutes before I get going. And yeah, it should be good fun. Hopefully, I won't take up too much of your time. I'll try and pack in as much information as I possibly can, but also be as efficient as possible as something I'm massive on as well. It's just trying to be pretty efficient, but it should be good. Should be good. So let's give it a couple of minutes and then I'll get this show on the road, which should be pretty good, pretty cool. First things first, let's try and actually find this slideshow. Bang. Awesome. Might skip another couple minutes just to wait a second, but yeah, might skip another minute or so, and then we'll get started. Anybody have any gossip from their weekend? Anything they want to share? Chat about for the next minute or so?
Coxie, mate. Finally nice to meet you.
You too, Krishna, mate. Nice to meet you. Should be good. Great to see you.
Likewise.
Legend, mate. Should be good. Few familiar names here. Aaron Hart is looking quite nice. That photo you got there, mate. Look, he looked very slick in that photo. Suited up. Absolute rooster.
Yeah, that is a throwback to probably Deb night, probably 4 or 5 years ago now.
Mate, unreal. What a night. What a night. We love it. Love Deb. All right. I reckon I'm going to jump in and get this show on the road. All right. Let's do it. Perfect. Still a couple coming in. Cool. All right, guys. So I'll share my slides. Boom. Here we go. Perfect. That's all working. Alrighty. So off-season training guide. I think obviously a massive opportunity when you start your off-season to set the tone pretty much for the season ahead. And this is an opportunity where when there's no cricket on, no regular season games on, then no better opportunity than to go and work on some things and become a better player. I think this is a perfect opportunity to set up the season for like the best season of your career. And it all starts now. But one thing that I reckon I stuffed up when I was playing cricket was this period where I didn't really know what to work on, didn't really know what I should be spending my time on doing. Sometimes I'll be overtraining, undertraining, and it can be quite hard and to actually figure out what the right balance is for you. And as you get older and more experienced, then you will start to find what works for you and what sets up a really, really good season. But hopefully today, through this, I can really, really give you a good idea on how you can set yourself up to have a really, really good, successful off season that really just sets up the rest of your whole season. So what you can expect is having this guide hopefully will give you a bit of a direction. You can put together a proper plan to actually help you improve, and then just give you some simple actions to follow. That's the main thing. I think sometimes people can overcomplicate things. Goal with this today for me is to keep this as simple as I possibly can. So, purpose of training in this off-season period. Number one, the purpose of any training in general is to get better as fast as possible. I'm massive on quality training over quantity training. It's like if we can improve our batting average by 20 from doing 2 net sessions, why do 2 years worth. You know what I mean? Like, what is the least amount of training we can do to get to get better as fast as we possibly can? That's always what I'm thinking of. What is the least amount of running volume we can do to get the fittest? What's the least amount of gym volume that we need to get the adaptations that we want? What's the least amount of balls bowled we can do to get as better as what we possibly can? That is what I'm massive on. It's efficiency of training is the key, and getting better as fast as possible. That's always should be the goal. Always. From there, it sets up your season for success. This period of training can certainly set yourself up to have the best season of your life and have that breakout season. But you can't win the season now, but you can lose it. It does lay the foundation. And if you do it poorly, if you do this period of the year poorly, then you can come back in horrific condition. I've seen blokes, like we've all seen guys come back at start of pre-season and you're going, gee whiz, have not been looking after themselves too well. And then it takes them till midway through the year to actually get themselves back into shape. If you nail this part right now, this just sets you up so nicely to have a really, really good season. But if you do stuff it up, then it can be quite hard to get back and have a really good, successful season because you're always playing catch up. So I see this period of the year, it's a golden opportunity. Number one, because you've got more time. You're not playing cricket. You got 8 hours on a Saturday. Some people here are probably playing Sunday as well. You got Tuesday, Thursday nights, no training. So we've got a lot more time to work on other parts of our game. We also have fatigue, less fatigue from games. So that means going into games, we obviously need to taper our training just so that we're not sore, we're not fatigued, we're setting ourselves up to perform. So it affects the quality of our training going into games. And then out of games, you're going to be sore, we're going to be fatigued, we don't want to overtrain and get ourselves injured as well. So there's only really a few days in the middle of the week where you can really get that high intensity training. Whereas now we've got more opportunities throughout the week to work on things at a higher level of intensity because there's no fatigue. Less stress as well. I think like a lot of people here would have struggled with, the mindset and the mental skills of cricket and how challenging it can be. Just being in a lower stress state improves your ability to recover so much better. Once again, the opportunity to try new things and instill new habits. It's a chance where you can, try different drills. You can work on different things in the nets. You can work on some things physically. You can start, new habits like waking up early or different diet things, something like that. Experimentations throughout this period I'm massive on, because if you're going to make mistakes, you may as well make mistakes now because there's no real consequence. Like if you're tired on a Saturday morning and your running session's a little bit average, then that's okay. Tired on game day and you don't play as well, not quite exactly what I want. So really important that this is a golden opportunity. See this as a golden opportunity to really improve your game. So let's get into it. The first thing that you need to do above anything else is you need to know your game and you need to know yourself. And I'll break it down into 3 parts. Number 1 is your skill and your craft. 2, your physical or like your lifestyle side. And then 3 is like your mental and emotional. And we'll go through a few things here, but this is the absolute key. So you might want to ask yourself these questions around your skill. Like, what's your natural style under pressure? Where do you play well? What breaks down when you don't? When you're batting, what's your common dismissal or your common bowling flaw? What are your strengths and weaknesses? It's important to know your batting, bowling, and fielding inside and out, because that will then set the tone for what your goals will be and what you actually need to improve on. Physical, how fast you are, how strong you are, how fit you are. Do you recover well? Do you fade out of games? What's your biggest physical limiter? These are a few different questions that you could be asking yourself as well. Like really dissect yourself and understand what you actually are from a physical point of view is so important. Where's you really strong from a lifestyle point of view? Where are you really strong from a recovery point of view? Really just understand yourself. Mental and emotional. Do you trust yourself after making a mistake? Do you play with freedom or fear? What's your self-talk like? Ask yourself all these types of questions to better understand yourself. That's the key, first and foremost. You don't understand yourself, then we don't know what direction to go in terms of how to actually make yourself better. And you might want to fill something like this out. Write down your playing style, strengths, weaknesses from a skill point of view, physical limiter, what's your mental age, or what's some things that you might need to work on. When you know who you are, you then stop copying others and start becoming the best version of yourself. That's the key. I'm all about you becoming the best version of you, not just copying what some experienced players doing, what drills they're doing for them. They're doing that for them. It's all about making you the best player that you can be and the best version of yourself. People do things in a different way. You get some fast bowlers who are there for raw pace and explosiveness. You'll get some fast bowlers that are more line and length. And it wouldn't be the smartest thing to do to train, let's say, wouldn't be the smartest thing for someone like a Fergus O'Neill to train the same way like a Mitchell Starc does. But they're two different players. Wouldn't be that smart for someone like a Steve Smith to train how like a David Warner did, because they're two different players. So it's important that you really know yourself is kind of what I'm going at. And that then dictates how you then set up the rest of your off-season plan. I'm massive on the first thing you must do from then, once you understand yourself, set some goals. You understand what your strengths are, what your weaknesses are. Let's just set them goals. If you don't have any goals, you're more likely to just go through the motion. So let's set a physical goal. It might be want to gain 5 kilos of muscle, run a 5K under 20 minutes, improve your vertical jump to this, deadlift 100 kilos. It might be do your first chin up, drop 5 kilos of body fat, whatever it is. Setting a goal just gives you a purpose. It gives you something to train for. Instead of, especially when it gets cold in Australia in the winter, or in Melbourne at least, it gives you something to get out of bed for and start training for. So set a goal and work towards that. From there, set some skill-based goals. Here, if you're on screen now, improve your head position, work on back foot contact as a bowler, seam position as a bowler, like slow ball variation, stock ball consistency, improve your sweep shots, or your play against spin, improve your defense, whatever it is. There's 1,000 different things that we can work on between batting, bowling, and fielding, spin bowling, fast bowling, batting, left hand, right hand, whatever it is, top order batter, lower order batting, whatever it is. We all know this cricket is so many different scenarios, so many different contexts, so many different conditions. So that's why it's really important to know yourself and know your game. That's what's going to dictate what you set the goals as. That's the key. Because there's no point if you're a 2020 specialist improving your defense. You know what I mean? Like there's going to be different, whatever situations that you find yourself most in, or situations that you find you might struggle in. That's where you set your development plan on the things based on the things that you need to improve on. From there, set a process-based goal. I'm massive on process over outcome. So let's really stick to a process. It might be going to the gym 3 times per week, doing a sprint session every week, weigh yourself every morning, 30 grams of protein every meal. It might be other things like journaling every day, or watching film of, Frog Box or other cricketers and picking up new different things. Set a process goal on something you're going to stick to no matter what. Set a goal of something that if you go to the gym 3 times a week for the whole off season, the chances are you're going to get stronger, you're going to get more powerful if you're following the right program. So it's really, really important that you set some goals at the start, and this sets the direction of where you're going to go from there. Step 2, set some baseline tests. It's important to know where you start. It's a really good quote. It's what gets measured gets managed. So it might be doing a 2K time trial to assess your fitness, a broad jump, a triple hop test for your lower body power, testing your strength out in the gym, It might even be doing things like weighing yourself if you're after like a body composition change. Do some baseline testing to see where you're at. And once again, that can be quite motivating for you as well, because you always want to test better than what you did last time. I'm about living life on easy mode. So set up your environment, set up things to help keep you motivated. Set goals, set some baseline tests. I'm not sure about you, but for me, whenever I have a goal I'm working towards, or whenever I know I've got some testing coming up, or whatever I know that I've done some tests, I want to beat that. I want to live up to that standard, and I want to keep on pushing to improve. That is a great way to set your life up to have motivation. Even if you don't feel motivated, you know that you're going to have that discipline to continue to work towards those things. Because that's the hardest thing. People have the ideas. Everyone wants to perform well, but when it gets hard and life gets busy and things like that, that's when things can fall apart. But that's why it's really important to set your life up so you have that motivation, or you have something to work towards. That's the first thing. Perfect. Let's go on to step 3. So this is the actual training part of it now. What should you do with your skills training? I'm massive with this skills training is to don't burn yourself out from a mental point of view. Like if you're thinking, all right, I have to train in this period at the start of the off season, then don't train. Don't do your skills training. I want you to be like, oh yeah, I'm really keen to go to the Nets. Because we're so far out from the season. Like the Victoria Premier Grand Final is on right now still. And a lot of you guys would have finished your season a couple of weeks ago. I know there's some people that are still training through that I work with. I'm massive on give yourself a mental break from cricket. Like batters can train all year round. Like from a physical point of view, there's no issue around that. Like you're not going to get hurt from over batting. Bowlers definitely need a couple months off postseason if you had a really big season with the ball, just for that recovery of the bone in your lumbar spine. But you only need like a 10 to 12 week reload before round 1 for bowlers anyway. So work back from that. It might be, July, August, we start back bowling again. If there is some technical things that you want to work on, things like that, bowling a low intensity, doing some drills might be okay, but I'm still massive on taking some time off your skills training in this time of the season for the Australian people, for the Australian summer, because it's a long season and you don't want to be mentally burnt out from cricket like in January, February. That's when you should be peaking mentally and hopefully peaking for finals. So have the long-term vision in mind of you want to be playing your best cricket in next March and April. And when we have that long-term vision, then we set ourselves up for that. So this is more of for a bowling thing. Definitely take your 4 to 8 weeks off bowling. But in terms of batters, you guys come back from a physical point of view, but don't burn yourselves out. In order to train in April or May, you've got to be desperate to train. Never ever go to the Nets this early on if it's, I probably should train or I have to train. Otherwise, it might be a long season. You might burn yourself out. Because we've got other things that we can focus on in this period that's going to help you game. Number 1, let's talk about speed training. Speed training is something that is neglected so much, and that's because no one really knows how to do it. And that's something that I didn't really know how to do properly until the last couple of years. And you think about cricket itself, it's batting. You might go for like a quick single. You've got to be explosive and fast. You also run 2s where you're running fast as you can up and back. Very rarely you run 3s. So everything is done at such a high intensity, and then you get a nice long rest. Bowling, same thing. Sprint in the bowl, slow, walk back, sprint in the bowl. Chasing ball in the field, it's always going to be 100%. So all of cricket is sprinting with long periods of rest. So sprint training is something that should never be neglected. And that's why I've got it here first, is that you need to be doing sprint training, no matter if you're I don't care if you're a batter, bowler, all-rounder, keeper, whatever you are. You need to be doing some form of speed training every single week. Now, this goes back onto how often you should be doing it. I've got 1 to 3 times per week. That number is based on knowing yourself, knowing what you need to work on to improve your game. For me, I am slow as. I'm like slow twitch. I'm like a big diesel. I'm not a race car. I'm more like a truck. I'm a slow big diesel operator. So for me, I need to do more speed training because that's a weakness of mine. And then that is something that if I'm not doing my speed training much, then I'm going to be left behind. So I might need to do that 2 or 3 times per week. Someone who's already fast and needs to work on other things might only do it 1 time per week to maintain. So that's where there's a bit of variation there. We've got at different times of sprinting, like acceleration works out 10 to 30 meters. And then our top end speed is more like your 46-meter sprints. The biggest mistakes I see is people like landing on their heel with their sprints. Their excessive backside mechanics, so the leggers are coming out the back too far, and that's not allowing them to get enough knee drive. Think about like that butt flicker sort of technique. So we're looking to land on the ball of our foot, looking at that nice knee drive like I've got in that photo here. And then one thing with sprinting too is that you need to stay nice and relaxed. The best runners and sprinters in the world, they aren't the most powerful and explosive athletes. They're the ones that have the best timing, best rhythm, and best coordination. Very, very similar to fast bowling, I think. Fast bowlers in the world are not the biggest, strongest, most powerful athletes in the world, but they're the most coordinated, they have the best timing, and they have some really good coordination. Let's talk into strength training. So strength training wise, how often you should be going to the gym? It's 2 to 4 days per week. The training splits that I like, it's either full body 2 to 3 times per week or upper lower split 4 times per week. No bro splits, so no like arms one day, chest, then we're going to hit back, and then we're going to do shoulders and arms, then might do legs once a week. That's that bodybuilder stuff where you smash one body part one day. I'm not about that. Push-pull legs for cricketers, probably not either. Only ever do upper lower splits or full body splits because that allows you to get better training frequency. So, and you don't need to smash your legs or smash your upper body on one session because you're going to train it multiple times in a week. That's the key. If you can train these multiple times in a week, you can spread that load out a bit more evenly. So you're not going to be as sore after your sessions. You're not going to be as fatigued. Then that you can actually train other things as well. How I like to structure my gym sessions at the start, do some power work, a few power exercises, some jumps, plyometrics, med ball throws. Into our compound strength exercises, so if you squat or lunge pattern, hip hinge, which is like for your hamstrings, your upper body push, upper body pull. Hit those compound fundamental movements, finish off with some accessory works, extra work for your shoulder, for your core, for your calf, for your hips. And then how I would like structure sets and reps for across an off season is at the start, you might want to do something like this. Bit more volume, let's say 8 reps, 4 second on the lowering phase, the eccentric, 2 second pause at the bottom. So a lot of time under tension there. We're really slowing that down. That's going to cause a lot of muscle damage, cause a lot of fatigue, and actually a little bit of soreness. That's why you probably wouldn't want to do that when you're bowling or when you're in season because that's going to cause a lot of fatigue. You might transition that to a little bit less volume, but a bit more weight. So 3 sets of 6, still controlling on the way down. Then we're exploding up. And then as you get later into the off season, you might want to do something that's a bit more dynamic, bit more weight, bit lower volume. So it's going to cause you less sore, but it's going to be pushing the weight. So it's going to be pushing the intensity, like 3 sets of 4, squatting down to a box, or reducing that range of motion slightly. So we're not quite getting as sore, and we're not quite causing as much muscle damage. So that's just one way how you could structure it, but that will change based on your goals and what you're trying to work on, which is the most important thing. Make sure you're training specific to what you need to work on based on how much you know yourself and what you need to improve on. That is a great way to structure it though, and how I'm sort of structuring with the athletes I'm working with on a one-to-one basis at the moment is we'd start off, with some more volume, lower weight work, and then we'll progress over time into some lesser volume but more intense work. Conditioning and fitness. So with cricket, as I said before, it's a sport where it's sprint, rest, sprint, rest. That's what it is. Now, I'm a massive believer in that. Well, I'm not massive. It's not the fact that I believe it. It is factually true that a great aerobic system helps recover better, helps you recover better from your sprints. So if you're unfit, you do one sprint, you might take a couple minutes to recover, then you can do another one. The fitter you are, the more sprints you can do, and the faster you will recover. So absolutely, you need to be fit, 100%. We need a great combination of speed work running and aerobic based running. Early off season, once again to the weights, we might start with things that are a lot more volume and running at a bit slower pace, and then progress to a little bit less volume but more intense running. So you might start the early off season part here with our 5K runs, 10K runs at the start of the off season. That's where we're accumulating a little bit of volume. Then once you've done a month of those continuous runs, we'll probably start to then progress to things that are a bit more sharp, a bit more faster, like a working interval of like a 2-minute run, a 3-minute run, a 4-minute run with a 1 or 2 minute rest. That way you're running at a lot higher intensity, getting a little bit of rest and then going again, but still over 2 to 4 minutes where you might be covering anywhere between 600 meters to a K in those efforts. As you get later on the preseason, that's where we'll do more of our shorter interval work. Think 80 meter intervals, 150s, 400s, 200s, things of that nature there. Once again, we start at that base where we're going that longer, slow runs, and then we progress into something that's a bit more high intensity. One thing that's massive is to just avoid overtraining too early. I know you'll be really eager to get out for some runs. You haven't been going for runs, cricket training's finished, but it's important to not spike your loads too much because shin splints and overuse injuries are really, really common. That's why I'm massive on. And when I interned at Cricket Victoria, all the players like Scotty Bolins and guys like that were all using so much off-legs conditioning, like bike, swimming, and the rower, things like that, to help get that aerobic adaptations without the costs on the body, without the shin splints popping up, without the foot stress injuries, things like that, because it's such a nicer there's no ground reaction forces, so there's no stimulus on the feet, but we're still getting our lungs working and we're still building that engine just without the running part. So it's a nice, potentially, if you have had issues with that, or if you're a little bit heavier, or you just want a little bit of variety in your training, to do a bike session a week, a swimming session, or a rower to help with that, building that fitness level without the cost on the body. Any questions from this so far? Just turn either in the comments or turn your mics off and let me know if you've got any questions. We'll stop it for a couple minutes. Here you go. Question. Is it right to go bowling after strength training? So how I would structure a day is, in an ideal world, is I'll be doing sprinting first, bowling second, gym after that, if I could differentiate the three. Just because sprinting's done at such a high intensity, you want it to be fresh for it. Bowling's our main skill, so you don't want to be too fatigued from that. And then because gym is the third priority of that, you want to do gym last. But never let ideal get in the way of practical. So if the only way you can go to the gym if you have to do it before bowling, then 100%. That's absolutely okay to do that. That's absolutely fine if you do it the right way. So what I'll be doing with that is I'll be doing a little bit less volume. I'll be doing a bit more power work. I'll be doing a little bit less reps, more hot, still keep the weight nice and high, but I wouldn't be doing slow eccentric work where causing a lot of muscle soreness and damage, especially to the hamstrings. What I'll be doing is I'll be structuring my session knowing I'm bowling later on. And to be fair, like if I was playing cricket next season, I'll be structuring my lower body days before I bowl, just practicality because we train at night. And I'll be adjusting my sessions around that as well. So absolutely, it is possible to do and definitely can do it. Just need to structure it the right way. All right. When full body training, should you be doing isolated work or compound movements? Compound movements is definitely the main thing to focus on. As I sort of went through before, where like how to sort of structure a gym session is, you want to start with your power work, pick a few of those, do 1 to 4 compound exercises, and then finish with 1 to 3 accessory. Accessory work is more isolation exercises. So definitely focus on more the compound movements. The old one out. What change direction drills do you recommend for fast bowlers? I lost that. And what are some drills for back foot contact? So, with that question there, it's going to be hard for me to get up any drills right now. So I won't be able to answer that one. Just ask questions in relation to this, just because I don't have all the drills I have on me at the moment, and it's not really in line with what we're trying to work on at the moment. With full-time uni, what are the essentials to focus on? I don't have much free time. Great point. So, absolutely, when you don't have a lot of time, then you need to focus on the big rocks, and essentially that comes down to knowing yourself and knowing what you need to work on. So, look, let's use me for. I'm going to use myself here as a case study. So for me, bit of background, as I said before, a bit more slower twitch. I'm not very fast. Like my vertical jump isn't very high. My sprint speed isn't very fast. But what I am, I'm really fit and I'm really strong. So those things there and luckily for me, aerobic fitness and strength are 2 physical qualities that hang around for a long time. Means you don't need to train them too frequently to get the adaptations that you need. So you only need to really train them a little bit before they start to detrain. So for me, what I'll be prioritizing is doing a lot of speed training, a lot of power work in the gym, and things that are going to improve my explosiveness. And then I'll be, whenever I can fit in, going for some aerobic runs, and then I'll just be touching on a little bit of volume and strength to keep that up. So, but for me, I'll be focusing on more power and speed work. If I had 20 minutes, I'll do 20 minutes of sprinting over 20 minutes of a jog, for example. That's just for me. For you, it could be a little bit different, but that's what I'll be thinking about, is thinking about what areas of my game do I need to focus on, and then prioritize your time into those. Absolutely. Doing a primer gym session before bowling does help you feel amazing. So is being fast twitch or slow twitch a matter of genetics, or is it influenced by lifestyle and gym? So great question. So it is definitely genetic based. So your fiber type makeup is something that is genetic, and there's a certain amount of allocation of fast and slow twitch fibers that you will have. However, there are some hybrid fibers that will shift towards being more fast twitch or towards more slow twitch with training. Like how I'd see it is like 80% of it is genetics, but we do have 20% to adjust that based on our training. How many days per week should you be doing plyometrics? So probably 2 to 4 days per week for plyometrics. You can do plyometrics at the start of your gym sessions or before you do your running or sprinting sessions. Because the question around, if you don't have access to a gym, what exercises should you be focusing on? And like for that, I think like sprinting plyometrics, jumps as a cricketer is absolutely crucial. Things like single leg squats, push-ups, chin-ups, lunges, just any body weight strength exercise that you can sort of do. But I'll be seriously recommending if getting access to a gym so we can progress those exercises properly. When should I start bowling? As I'm on leave of 1 year and then 2 months left, and then off-season starts. What should I do? For me personally, I would start bowling 12 weeks before your first game of the season. That's what I'll be thinking. So Vamsy thinks that he's 27 and he doesn't think he can get a lot of strength gains. Can I do maintenance work and prioritize running and sprinting to help my bowling? Absolutely. As I said, it all comes down to what you need to improve on. So if you're already strong enough, and so let's say if you can already squat or deadlift 1.5 times your body weight, then for me personally, you're strong enough and you don't need to prioritize chasing more weight on your strength exercises. What I'll be doing is doing a lot more power, a lot more speed work in there. So I work with a lot of junior cricketers. So our priority is getting that strength up to that level. But if you are 27, you are strong enough, then I'll be doing a lot more sprinting, a lot more plyometrics, a lot more power work, etc. All right. Perfect. I'm gonna roll on through. But great questions. We'll do some Q&As at the end as well. Awesome. So step 4. Add in some variety. Training needs to be fun. That's the most important thing as well. Like, we don't just train because we have to. We want to do things because it's fun. And there is great research out there that the athletes who make it to the top, the best performing athletes, don't just play cricket from the age of 12 years on and dedicate themselves to that. They play a multitude of different sports. They play a lot of different sports because that gives you a lot more movement variability. It makes you more skillful. It allows you to develop in different ways. And from a mental point of view, for mental burnout as well. It allows you to stay fresher. And I think it's a bit of an identity thing as well. If you just play one sport, your identity can get wrapped around in that. And that's why I'm so passionate, especially junior athletes, even people who are older, to play different sport. I don't care if it's something socially or seriously, play a different sport for a period of time. I think that's so valuable. Try new things. Do some Pilates, do some yoga, try some HIIT classes, join a run club, learn something new, try some different drills you might see online. Experiment. The human body loves variety. It loves learning. It loves challenging itself. And the best players in the world embrace failure. They embrace not being good at things. And it's a great opportunity just to freshen yourself up and focus on something different at the start of your off-season. Underrated, but adding in some variety and adding in something a little bit different could be the way that you could develop a new movement skill. You could develop your agility, your fitness, something that you can enjoy and you can do. Make it social. But it's good. I definitely recommend is adding some variety to your training and try something different. All right. Now, here's how to stay motivated. Massive, massive, massive thing here with training because it is the hardest thing. How can you stay motivated when you don't really feel like training? And that's what I always get. People come to me and they go, oh, yeah, like I finished cricket season and I've got no training. It's time to shift the mindset. You're not a cricketer. You're a person whose body gets to be fit and healthy all year round. Like, we are not cricketers. We are people. The human body needs to be moved. It needs to be challenged, and we need to exercise. It doesn't matter what sport you're playing. It doesn't matter if your cricket season is finished. Your human body deserves to be fit. You deserve to be fit. You deserve to be looking after yourself no matter what. So just like we have seasons in cricket, your body has seasons as well. And it might be the season to get fit and to do and prioritize other things. As mentioned before, set some goals. Absolutely crucial. Keep it fresh as well. sometimes things get a little bit stale. Cricket season is pretty repetitive. It's a repetitive game, and you finish the season and you might be a bit mentally cooked. So try something different. Go to a different gym. Sign up at a new different gym. Get a new gym program. I know when I get a new program, I'm that motivated and that keen to just attack it that hard. As I said before, keep challenging yourself. Buy new running shoes, I think, is like the biggest cheat code to be motivated to run. Whenever I buy new runners, you bet ya that next month I am pounding the pavement and I am running because I want to put these things to work. So if you ever like can't be bothered running, buy yourself a new pair of runners because you want to use them. Buy some new activewear, fresh kit, something to wear to the gym. 100%. You always want to test it out. You want to do these things. This is an investment in your health and fitness. You're a human first, so make sure that you put the money in to invest in making sure that your body is in tip-top condition. And then to keep yourself accountable, find a training partner. Could be a teammate, could be someone from a different club, could just be a parent, whatever it is. Create a group chat with your teammates around training and what you're doing. Document your journey. Tell people about your goals. Like if I go out and tell somebody, yeah, I'm going to run a half marathon this year, then you kind of got to do it. So if it's something important to you, like, yeah, I really want to lose 5 kilos, tell people about it. Oh, I really want to put on some muscle, or I really want to play this level of cricket this year. Tell people about it. Because the more you speak things into existence, the more things are more likely to happen. The more you tell people about it, the more it's more for you. It's more for keeping you accountable to what you actually want. Because then people ask you about it. And if people are asking you about it, you're not doing it, I'll tell you what, you're going to find some motivation to get it done. I've got no doubt about that. All right. So we've gone through that. We've gone through, how many times per week you could be training. We've gone through what the goals are for each person. Now it's time to build a week of training. Here is what 4 gym sessions and 2 runs could look like. Monday morning, you could do some up bodies. Tuesday in the afternoon, you could do some running sessions. Wednesday, rest. Thursday could be a lower body gym. Friday, uppers. Saturday, lowers, with the running on Saturday morning as well. So you can see that there's a lot of different ways to skin a cat here. Same thing through there. 5 gym sessions a week, 3 runs. Someone who needs to put on a lot more strength. They're really skinny. Someone might have a lot of time. This is how you might structure it. This is how I'm structuring my training right now as well, for reference. So upper body, lower body, upper, lower, rest, full body, and then running on Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday with 2 days off. 3 gyms, 2 runs. Gym on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, running on Thursday, Saturday. That's how a lot of my guys are training at the moment as well too. So there's a lot of different ways. Here is a few golden ways on how to build your training week. Number 1, you need to have rest days. 1 to 2 rest days as a minimum. If you can maximize your rest days, that's the key for great recovery. There's something called a high-low training model. So you see here that I always do my running sessions and my lower body gym sessions on the same day. That's so I can consolidate the stresses, which means I do my legs twice on one day. So then I give my legs a rest the next day. Whereas if I was to split that up and do, running on Monday, lower body gym Tuesday, and running on Wednesday, etc., my legs will never get time to recover. That's why it's really important to stack your running and your lower body days on the same day if you can, or to make sure that you just have enough days off so you're not doing them too many days in a row. Once again, don't train muscles on back-to-back days. Always sprint before lifting weights, never the opposite. Once again, if you're doing like a heavy RDL or some heavy hamstring training, that's quite fatiguing. And if you go for a high-intensity sprint, you're more likely to do a hamstring and get injured. So because sprinting is quite intense, it's the most intense thing you can do, always sprint before you lift weights. And then most importantly is make training fit into your schedule and your lifestyle. I'm massive on setting up a calendar at the start of the week, plugging in when you're going to train, when you got work, when you got school, when you got cricket training, etc. Make it a part of your weekend. Set realistic expectations. Like if you can't go to the gym 5 days a week, don't set a goal to go to the gym 5 days per week. Just make things fit into your schedule and what works for you. Because what you'd rather do is add in a gym session and take away a gym session. So you wouldn't want to be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do 6 gym sessions a week, but then you only do 4. And hear my language then. I say, oh, you only do 4. Doing 4 gym sessions is a lot of gym sessions. That's like the maximum that I recommend. But if you set 6 and you only do 4, you're disappointed in yourself. So at the start, if you're trying to instill some new habits, I would underestimate how much you can do. And then you can always go, you know what, I've got more time and I can add an extra session the week after. And that's way more motivating and way more of a positive way to look at it than the opposite. All right. What's next? This is what you need to do. Review your season from last year. Know your game. Know what your strengths are, what you need to work on, and what you're going to focus on in these next few months to get you to where you want to be next. This is the key. This is the most important thing here, is understanding where you're at and understanding what's in the way of for you getting to where you want to be. That's the key. From there, set your goals based off that. Then test where you're at right now. Set your calendar up. Build up your week of training. Build it out. Set it up. Understanding what you need to work on, what you don't. It's going to consist of some sprint training. It's going to consist of some gym training. It's going to consist of doing some aerobic running work. It might incorporate some skills in a month or so. Build it out. Exactly what you need to do to work on for you. For me, it's going to be different to you, to the next person. So that's why it's all about you. This is a plan for you and you knowing your game, you knowing yourself. Add in something a little bit different, something that will challenge you, something that's going to be a bit of fun, something that's a little bit social. Whatever it is, adding that variety is perfect. Not from a physical, but a mental point of view as well. And then from there, sleep well, eat well, train hard, and stay consistent. Do those things. If you know what you need to improve on, you set the right goals to keep you motivated. You test where you're at, so you know where you're starting from. You build out a great week of training for you that aligns with your goals. You have something in there that just changes things up a little bit of variety, something you might learn. And then you train hard consistently, you recover well, you sleep well, you eat well, you will get results. There is no doubt about that as well. There's no doubt about it in my mind. You are guaranteed to come back a better version at the start of the next pre-season if you do these things really, really well. Really, really simple in theory, but at the end of the day, it just comes down to you getting it done and making sure that you are doing the right kind of training. And the reason why that, if you are going to put in the hard work, that's important that you put in the hard work doing the things that actually make you better. There's nothing more disappointing when I hear about people who put in so much work and they're so dedicated, but then I see like their programs and what they're doing, and I'm like, oh no, you've been doing like the work hasn't been like, you could have been doing something so much more beneficial for you if you were training a little bit smarter, if you had a program that was designed for you, if you had some support or accountability from a coach or a mentor or something like that. Because there's no worse feeling when training hard, then not getting the results that you want. It's something that I did for a long period of time. And I understand how frustrating that is. And that's kind of why, I do this as a job right now, so people like you who are on this call on a Sunday afternoon don't have to hopefully feel that that pain or just be frustrated by putting in the hard work and not getting the results. Because it's one thing to train hard, but you need to train hard at the right things as well. Training hard and smart is absolutely crucial. That's why it's important to go through these steps first before then going out and training. So you're training at the right intensity and you're training and doing the right things. So that is the end. That is what I've got. But I'll put the questions out once again. What I'll actually get you to do, instead of writing them in the comments, I'll actually get you to turn your mic off mute and then ask them in here.
Hey mate, so I had one question. You talked about experimenting with drills. So is that more for batting or bowling? Because with bowling, there's like multiple factors involved. So would it be like the best experiment with drills, especially if you're like a front on or side on bowler? So that was one of my questions.
Yeah, for both batting, bowling, fielding, experiment with different drills, anything that you like. Really, like this is a phase where, like, let's say for the Australian summer, where we are like 6 to 8 months away. So this is a great opportunity to try everything, try a lot of different things and see what works and what feels good for you. But only don't just do drills. My biggest pet hate is people who just ask for drills or just want drills. Like, every drill works, but it only works if you're trying to take something from that drill and apply it to your action. Like, just doing a drill doesn't make you better, but understanding why you're doing a drill and then applying the context from that drill into your batting or bowling or fielding is the key to it. So experiment with it, play with different things, but be specific with what you're trying to work on is what I would say.
Hey Jason, I got a question about tracking everything. So what is like the best way to track everything? Because like if you don't track anything, then how do you know you're improving,
When you say track everything, can you be a bit more specific on what everything is?
Like, for example, let's say you want to improve your horizontal broad jump or something, like tracking that, even your gym workout strength. Just seeing progress in your bowling change as well. For example, if you're working on the front arm, tracking whether what was it like before and what is it like now? Is it more delayed? And just things like overall diet and sleep as well.
So in terms of like tracking things in the gym, just like writing down the weights that you did each session and then looking at long term for the
like
broad.
So
Yeah, for the broad jump, it'll be just like measuring the broad jump, and if you're going further, then you're going to be jumping. Then you're going to be more powerful. In terms of looking at like technical changes, there's some that might be a little bit more subjective. So that's where video comes in, where you video yourself like before and afters to see if you're making progress in that. Sleep, if you're wearing like a watch, like a Garmin or a Whoop or something like that tracks your sleep. So you can track your sleep quality and duration like that. So yeah, that's a couple of ways how you can make sure that you stay on track with that.
Yeah.
Hey Jason, I had a question. What drills would you help someone for power hitting?
Yeah, once again, there's a lot of different drills out there for power hitting and for everything, and it depends on what part of it depends on what you're trying to work on. There's a lot of things that come into an effective hit of the ball, so it's too much of a broad question to give you a specific drill. However, what underpins a really, really good bat swing and power hitting and people hit the ball first is like technical you have to have really, really good technique. So you've got to have good balance. You've got to have good weight transfer into the ball. You've got to have good bat speed. You need to have the requisite level of strength and power. And then you also need to pick up length really, really well as well and read cues from the bowler, and you've got to read the conditions. So for all those different considerations there, then there's a multitude of different drills that you could be doing. So once again, all drills work, but you just need to use drills that are specific to what you need to work on.
Thank you. I just had one more.
Mm-hmm.
What would be the ideal reps and weights you'd use for weighted cricket balls for bowling?
Great question. That's a very good question, actually. I actually don't know, to be honest.
If
No,
you want, I've got an answer to that one. Go on to Stefan Jones. He's a South African bowling coach. Go onto his page. There's all the different reasonings behind using certain weighted balls because I use them at the moment. And if you go and follow him, he'll be able to explain everything, and he backs it all with science and everything like that as well. So, Stefan Jones.
mate, that's awesome. I couldn't agree more. He's a guru of that stuff, and he does know that stuff. He does do a lot more loaded ball stuff than what I have yet. But I am a massive fan of his work, so 100% back that up as well. And I've seen him do that stuff. So have a look at that. Give it a Google or a ChatGPT, and you'll find that on Stefan's website because he's really good with that stuff.
Yeah, thank you.
Coxie, mate, thanks for that really great session. Just a question for myself and I guess other players on here that are aiming to say, make into like a really high level squad, say under 19s, under 23s, or like a high grade. I know, you should avoid an outcome based approach to playing the game. But let's say, you're really ambitious to aim for a higher sort of level. Are there any specific goals you'd recommend?
I reckon the one goal that I would have for all cricketers is to when you go out there and play is to be able to bring your best to every single ball, and it's as simple as that. I don't think enough cricketers allow themselves to bring their best to every single ball because there's a fear of failure. There's worrying about going out. It's worrying about bowling a bad ball. It's worrying about things outside your control. It's thinking about getting to 50. It's thinking about things that isn't the ball that's happening just then. So the only thing we can control is the present moment, and the only thing we can control is our thoughts and our actions. So the goal should be in every single moment to be as present as possible and to focus and put energy towards what we can control and just to bring your best to every single ball without wasting energy on things that you can't control and can't influence.
Thanks so much.
No worries. And then from there, results come on the back of that.
Legend, mate.
Yeah, so I had one question about you were talking about drills and stuff. So when you want to transfer your drills to like the in game, is it more for example, talk about bowling, right? If you're doing a drill, after that, is the way to bring it into like a real game or into like your real action? Is it just going to short run up first, or just going straight into it and then it'll automatically click?
Good question. So for some, it honestly depends on the person. It depends on a lot of different factors and it depends on what you're trying to work on. So let's say, for example, if you're trying to, let's the most common thing, like a brace front leg for a fast bowler. So I've got a lot of questions about. You might start by doing like some isometrics in the gym where you're not moving, and then once you can get into that position, you might want to load that by doing some strength in that specific position. Then from there, once you can prove that you can hold that position and you can get into that position, it's then developing the coordination to then get into that position when moving. So you might want to do some drills then with a med ball, standing still. Then you might want to add it into a step, and then from there you might want to add it into bowling from there. So for something like that, it does make sense to start from stationary and then move it back to a short run up to a full run up. Absolutely. However, sometimes if you're working on things like front arm delay or things like that, then it's actually hard to train delaying your front arm when you're bowling at a slower pace because all the timing's all out of sync anyway. So that something like that you would have to do off a full run to only get the transfer from that. Otherwise, it's a lot of training that's not probably going to be effective. So depends on what you're trying to work on. Is the answer to that. But there's a couple of examples. There's an example of two different things that will require that might require two different ways to go about it.
Yeah, thank you. I was wondering because I was working on back foot contact, and I do like like drills with like 3 or 4 steps, and I'm trying to integrate into my full action, but it's still going to take a little bit of time. So I'm just wondering. Thank you so much.
No worries at all. With back foot contact, a lot of it is your jump trajectory. So if you are jumping up too high and not jumping forwards, then you will collapse on back foot contact. So that one might be worth focusing on full run up stuff. And then if you don't have the physical tools to have a stiff back foot contact, like your ankle and Achilles tendon isn't stiff, then we're going to have to put a lot of work into the gym to develop a really strong Achilles tendon and a really strong calf complex that doesn't leak energy. So there's a lot of different factors that go into that. So yeah, just keep on working hard at that, I suppose.
And then with that one, I know it's a broad question, but what's like a good speed you think for like a 17-year-old all-rounder or path forward?
I got no idea. Yeah, no such thing as a good speed for a 17-year-old. I know it's just, yeah, I don't know. That's an impossible question to answer. Sorry, I got no idea. Just keep on working hard, keep trying to get better, and don't put too much energy on what a good speed is for a 17-year-old. Just keep on trying to get better. Right, I've got a question in the comments. Here we go. Be specific on what you want to achieve. For example, I'm doing spot bowling to improve consistency. Let's say how much volume would be ideal for a session. Once again, it all depends on. It'll all this stuff all just depends. Volume for a session can right now in the off season, I wouldn't be doing any more than like 5 overs, for example. All right. Let's get some more questions going. Unmuting their mics.
Hey, Coxie, I just had a question.
Mm-hmm.
How do you know if you're overtraining?
Great question. So, overtraining is a great question. And typically, if you're constantly fatigued, like if you wake up and you can just feel like you don't have energy, if your mood is out of whack, and your high stress levels, if you're got fatigue, number one, constant fatigue, constantly sore, mood and stress levels fluctuating, inconsistent, a high stress environment for no real reason. And if you have that constant feeling of just being flat, those are a few things of overtraining. And then you can also probably look at your schedule, and the thing is, and tell you what, probably if you're asking that question as well, you potentially probably already are. But if you're looking at your schedule and you're doing any more than like 4 gym sessions a week, 3 runs, skill sessions, things like that, you potentially are overtraining. What is your schedule right now? And I'll let you know if you're overtraining. And what are you feeling like?
Oh, at the moment, in season, I only train once a week. But it's just pre-season. I have a session in the morning, and I have a session at about 1 o'clock, and I have 2 skill sessions at about 5 to 8.
Are you bowling all those sessions? Are you a fast bowler?
I don't know. I'm an all-rounder.
Do you bowl? Are you a seam bowler or a spinner?
Seam bowler.
So in terms of like just fast bowling workloads, how old are you?
I'm 17.
So as a 17-year-old, I recommend bowling no more than 3 days in a week.
Yeah.
3 to 4 days. 3 days is ideal, but 4 days probably at a max, 4 days per week. Overs will depend on your chronic load, but no more than 120 overs in a week.
Yeah.
Ideally, average across a month.
Yeah. All right. Cheers.
No worries. Any other questions, guys?
Jason, I was just wondering, should I be dedicating something like 15 minutes before my workout to flexibility? Or should I be dedicating something more like 45 minutes at the end of the day to something more like stretching?
Great question. And is where it comes down to knowing yourself. So do you lack a lot of flexibility and mobility? Is that something that inhibits your game?
Yeah, definitely. Like in like the hamstrings, it's definitely noticeable.
Well, 100%. Well, then it would make sense to prioritize more time towards developing your hamstring flexibility and mobility than it would your quads, for example. So, in terms of that question, like I would start every session with a dynamic warm-up of sorts where you're doing mobility, flexibility, working dynamically through range of motion there. So before every session, that's a given anyway. And then absolutely, if that is something that is a limiting factor for you, like it's the thing, I got 45 minutes. What would help my game more? Putting it towards flexibility and mobility, putting it towards running, bike session, extra batting session, watching film. Like that's where it all comes down to knowing your game. And if you decide flexibility is the thing that you need to put that time towards, then 100% put that 45 minutes towards flexibility as its own individual session. 100%.
Yes, thank you.
No worries.
Yeah. Hi, Jason. So I just a question. Can you just like tell me like what should we do in like an ideal day? So it's like I like almost in a week I like train every day. Like it's like almost 30 or 45 minutes of training and then like 30 minutes, 45 minutes of bowling and then again a bit of batting like almost every day. So can you just tell me like should I do like almost every day or like some gaps there too?
I'd recommend adopting a high-low training model. So where you do a lot of training on one day. So you might want to do 90 minutes on one day and then have the next day off for rest and recovery. And then might do 90 minutes the other day rather than doing like 30 minutes or 45 minutes on 2 days. You put 2 sessions into one day and then do that because that's going to allow you to recover better. And then that's going to allow you to then have train at a higher intensity. Because we're training a lot every single day, that if we train the same every single day, then it's a lot of medium where we would have an undulating effect where it's high, low, high, low. Now, it doesn't mean you can't do something every day, but I'll be having like a hard day, easy to medium day, hard day, easy to medium day, hard day, easy to medium day. That's how I would structure it.
Yeah. Can you just like structure my one day like so I come back from school like from like 4, like 3:30 and something, and then after that I like get time to train.
Yeah, honestly, can you give me some more context on that? I'm not exactly sure what you're asking me to do.
So like can you just tell me how much time should I train like one day?
Once again, it comes down to you understanding yourself, your body, what you can handle, what you're working on, etc. So I can't do that because I don't know enough about you at this stage to do that. So if I gave you advice, it wouldn't be as effective because I don't have enough information. But whatever you decide to do, is make sure you just understand yourself, set some goals, and then work back from there.
Okay, got it. Thanks.
Awesome, guys. Let's do maybe one more question. If there's any more questions.
Yeah, with the back foot contact, I know you talked about it earlier, but I do a lot of drills with weighted balls with that, so it's like jumping and making sure your back foot isn't hitting the ground. So, do you think for stuff like that, it's more about the gym work, or then it's more about implementing it? Because I'm having a challenge implementing it into like my full action, even after doing like isometric drills and like holds with weighted balls and stuff.
I think like with anything with cricket, it's all about the skill. Like, although with a strength and conditioning background, it has an eye it's always about how can we become a better cricketer, not how we can be a better lifter in the gym. So it's always like it's always going to be about if you can then implement that into the skill itself. However, you may have some physical limitations that need to be addressed in the gym, but at the end of the day, once you do have the physical tools to be able to do that, then it does become a coordination thing. And can you implement that in your bowling action?
So, like, what is the step to implementation if you're doing the drills right, but you can't get it in the full run up?
It's very hard to give you that because I haven't seen you do that. Like, if I was there coaching you one-on-one, then I'd be able to try things and do things and see things. But I don't want to give you an advice because I haven't seen it with my own eyes, so I don't know exactly what you're talking about, and I also don't know exactly what you've tried. I don't know what works with you. So that's something that's probably very individualized. That just from our brief discussion just then, I probably don't have the information I need to give you the best advice. But what I'd recommend is journal, write down things that works for you, what feels good, trying to get the context of when you do get one really, really good, and keep trying to reapply that. And experiment with different things. Experiment with different run-up lengths, different entry speeds, different jump lengths, different jump heights, things like that, and try and find the feeling that feels really, really good. And then once you find the one that feels really, really good, keep on replicating that over and over and over again, because success leaves clues with that. Sorry, I couldn't really give you I can't solve that for you now, just because I haven't seen it. And that's something like as you know, bowling is really technical and really visual. It's something that you probably just need to see. But training is always experimentation, failure, learn, try something different. Failure, learn, try something different. And that's the whole process of it.
All right, thank you so much. And then for recovery, what's the best thing that you think is for recovery? Is it pool? Is it bike? Is it just going for a walk? What do you think is the best?
Absolutely, great question. Best thing is sleep. So it's the most important thing in the whole entire world for recovery. So that's the key. If I had if you have 30 minutes to do something for recovery, have a nap. So sleep is number one. Really, really good hydration and nutrition. After that, managing your life stress, super important. And then from there, just getting some light movement going. So something like, going for a walk, a swim, or bike. They're all the exact same. It's just what's best for you and what ones that you enjoy the most.
All right, thank you so much. Sorry for all the questions, mate.
No, don't be sorry, mate. It's what we're here for. I'm here answering them, so keep peppering them at me. But that's good, great. That's great, guys. Thanks for coming on. I actually really appreciate it. It's always really cool getting to come in and chat some cricket and chat some stuff, and I love it. So hopefully that you've taken something out of it at least. And if you've got any questions, just send me a message or send me an email on Instagram or whatever it is. I'm always reachable, always keen to have a chat. So I really appreciate you guys coming on. Hope you have a great rest of your day, great rest of your nights. I'll send these slides out as well. Yeah, I'll send the slides out too. So if anything you guys need, please let me know. But I'm glad that I could help. I'm really glad I could help. So thanks for coming on, and I hope you took something out of it.
Thanks, Coxie.
Cheers, Coxie, legend, mate.
And thank you, mate.
Legends. See you guys.
Cheers.